time for a bite size, and the bite size that I took this week is none other than the unbearable weight of massive talent. What was it? Well, yeah, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. This is a movie that that ever since I saw the trailer, I decided that I have to go there because I am one of those guys who support Nicolas Cage, because, well, you know that Nicolas Cage is one of those guys who is in some good movies, bad movies, whatever movies, but I think I did told you that while he's not exactly kind of like my favorite actor of all time, I little by little beginning to see why he fascinates me in his way of acting. It's kind of unique than other celebrities, and I like when an actor, you can pinpoint it by the way they act. And sometimes the hammier the better sometimes. Nicolas Cage is one of that can give an impression. Last year, while I didn't see Pig, I was fascinated by Willy's Wonderland or Willy's Wonder World. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I know that some movies like it, some movies kind of like are okay with it, some others don't like it itself. But honestly, I did like Willy's Wonderland / Wonder World, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, is that I got for some reason I got Balan Wonder World on my head, and it got stuck into it. But anyway, guys. Because of that, this is why I decided to take my chance and watch on a Tuesday, in which my favorite movie theater is cheaper, and I've begun to see that, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which starts out a fictional version of Nicolas Cage, in which it has some of the traits that you recognize, in which he's an actor. He sometimes struggles to get a role. He has depth, of course, but of course some things are different with him. For one, he's divorced, even though I haven't checked if he's still divorced and everything. But I do know that he has two male children. But in this one, they have him kind of like go and have a daughter. That will be a nitpick, but I'll get into that. But I'll do faster. But anyway, this fictionalized version of Nicolas Cage, in which it has all the traits, the acting, the way he does it, and well, the thing is that he is looking for a big break, but unfortunately, he's so much into his own world that he kind of struggles in both getting a role or for a movie, and he has problem connecting with his daughter, and it kind of exasperates his ex-wife and all these things, and so much that he decides to take this kind of like this billion job in which he's gonna present himself to a millionaire that kind of hires him to show up as a guest of honor on this guy's birthday. The guy's play is kind of named what was it called? Javi or something like that. He's played by Pedro Pascal. He's Pedro Pascal, but little that he knows is that Pedro Pascal is actually kind of like a member of this Spanish cartel. He's wanted. And apparently then, because of that, Nicolas Cage get involved into a CIA mission in which they force him. They hire him in order to spy on this guy, because apparently he is responsible for the kidnapping of the president's daughter, a politician's daughter, as much as I can understand. They wanted him, at kind of like a ransom, this cartel things, in order to, give them the reins of this cartel and everything. So, but little that they know also is that Nicolas Cage and the Pedro Pascal character, they kind of begin to bond because the Javi guy, the Pedro Pascal character, is also a big fan of Nicolas Cage, and he just kind of fanboy him, admire him, and somehow they begin to even connect as good friends, I'll say. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go with a quick acting, and that is a great acting and all these things. But I will say that if there's a moment in which you have to give an award to Nicolas Cage, it is this moment. Please. Some people don't deserve standing ovations like Will Smith had. But if someone deserves a standing ovation, it's not other than Nicolas Cage, because the guy has been working on movies all day, and this is kind of like a love letter to his stuff, and the movies that he done, and this is kind of like some of the stuff that if you like Nicolas Cage, you're gonna see a lot of his things. Acting him crazy, sometimes like screaming like that's kind of hilarious. And this one, it does a really good job, even for a fictionalized version of Nicolas Cage. It's so fictionalized that sometimes you get kind of like these surreal moments in which Nicolas Cage has hallucinations of talking kind of like his younger self. It's kind of like screamy, hippie, and all these things. Typical green screen. And at first, I thought it was a little Nicky, but that's actually played by Adam Sandler on this kind of like movie and all these things. But I don't know why did I get that, but it was kind of weird. And I will say that I never expected to see the two characters played by the same actor making out. No, seriously, that's what happened. And also, I do want to say that I'm gonna give praise to Pedro Pascal, because he didn't give me a good impression the last time I saw him, which was in Wonder Woman 84. But this one, he makes it up for him, making kind of like this cartel guy that admires Nicolas Cage. And honestly, he comes off as likable, I'll say. And he has a good body and chemistry, which kind of shows that probably Nicolas Cage, he kind of really needed kind of like a good friend. Because a lot of things it was the strugglings that Nicolas Cage had is that he basically kind of stuck into his own world, his own line of work and everything, that he kind of ignores kind of like ignores or hears the surroundings. Like, for example, he kind of doesn't care or about his daughter, likings and all these things. And because I don't know why, kind of like the movie saying that he really likes the castle of Caligari or something like that. We would say, oh yeah, it's artsy and all these things. It's an old movie, a German movie. I never saw it, but I never saw it. I know that it's kind of popular. Although going a little bit more into the other stuff quickly, the cinematography is fine. It's what it does. It has some good actions. It has some good humor. Some other elements is that they do references a lot of the Nicolas Cage movies. For example, they did say that they like Croods 2 in one moment, in which I love Croods, by the way, but I like the first one better. And there was actually kind of like one moment that they get into acid, and this whole scene made me laugh out loud, because it kind of reminded me of that Lithuanian. The only thing that it was missing is some soul breakdancing and some iguanas. But there were some moments in which, in my head, I was like just imagining that Nicolas Cage will one day will say, "The fish has dreams." And the humor lands, especially if you are into it. And by the way, it is a comedy, but things do get intense. Not exactly kind of like, wow, it's getting kind of like intense, but it's intense to the point that you actually begin to care for the characters, especially when it has some revelation that, well, you're gonna think that Pedro Pascal is gonna be the main antagonist, but it isn't. It isn't. And if I want to deflate a little bit the ego of this movie, and I'll say that there are some things that can be predictable if you're seeing a lot of Nicolas Cage / these kind of movies, in which some actor who is trying to get a big break, they're gonna. Then of course he gets involved into something bigger, like for example they get involved into the criminal and all these things. Some other characters they also do appear. Like for example, we got Tiffany Haddish as the how can I say the one who is trying to hire but also aids Nicolas Cage on his spy mission. They also have some moments with Neil Patrick Harris playing a character as Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah, I know. I like to abuse that Harold Kumar reference, saying Neil Patrick Harris as Neil Patrick Harris. But I will say that at least those few moments of Neil Patrick Harris, it kind of makes up for Matrix Resurrections. So yeah, some parts are kind of predictable, but it's predictably fun, I'll say. It's not exactly kind of like an issue for me, but overall, I will say, go check it out. I really love this movie. I really came out with a smile on my face, loving this movie. Oh yeah, another nitpick, I'll say, but this is kind of more in contrast with this one, is that I know that it's kind of hard to to have families from the same actors, doing other roles. Although I kind of wish I could prefer that, because maybe some ignorant guy, no offense, might gonna say that, oh yeah, that Nicolas Cage has a daughter, when in fact he doesn't, and they don't actually look like that, and even the ex-wife doesn't look like that, and they kind of ruin the believability. And the only way to deal with that coping mechanism or perfectionist mechanism is just saying that, well, this is an alternate reality. Just think of it like this is the end, in which it's exaggerated version of those actors. So I wouldn't mind, but it's just you have to have this mindset in order to have all these those facts a little bit more favorable. All right then, so. Yeah, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I enjoy it. Nicolas Cage, he was on top of his game. I think that he deserves some standing ovation from his acting roles in this movie. It's basically kind of like a love letter to his talent. But either way,